Welcome to programming and problem solving using Python. This is Rishikesh. In last session, we saw what are parameters and what are arguments. In this session, we are going to continue with functions and we'll be solving some problems. So here I have taken 4 problems. We need to solve these 4 problems using functions in Python. Okay. So the first problem is calculate the area of circle using function, pass the radius as a parameter and print the area. Okay, so here I have already written the function. So function is calculate circle area. We are passing our radius as a parameter, and inside the function we are creating a variable area. Now the formula for calculating the area of circle is pi r square, that is pi and the square of the radius. Okay, so this is pi, this is our radius, and multiplied by radius, so this is the square of the radius. So this step will calculate the area of the circle, and at the last I'm just printing out the area. Okay, and in line number 7 I'm calling this function with the argument 10. So the area of circle with radius 10 will be printed. Let's save this and run this code. Okay, so the area of circle is 314.0. Okay, now the second function is calculate the square of given number. So we need to calculate the square of the number. Now again, simple definition of function, calculate square. This function will receive number as a parameter, then inside the variable square it will store the square of that number. Now how we calculate square? We just multiply number by itself. Then at the line number 13, the square of the number will be printed. Let us run this example. Here it is. So we are passing the value 5 and the square of 5 will be 25. Let us save this program and run this. Okay, so we are getting error, that is name error, calculate square is not defined. So I think we have a mistake in the name. Okay, so just correct our name, calculate square. Now it's correct. Let's save this and run this. So the square is 25. Okay, so this is working perfectly fine. The third function, so the question is write a function to swap two numbers. Okay, so what is swapping here? Let's take an example. Let us say we have two buckets. One bucket is of rice and second bucket is of dal. And now what we want to do, we want to swap the material from rice to dal. We are keeping both buckets, but we are just swapping the material between those buckets. Now in that case we need third empty bucket. Now first what we will do, we will first take rice out of the first bucket and we'll put into the third empty bucket. Okay, now the bucket with rice is empty. Now we will add dal into that empty rice bucket. Okay, now dal is swapped to bucket of rice. Okay, now the dal bucket is empty, right? The bucket with dal is empty. So what we can do now, the third bucket which contains rice, we will add that rice to the dal bucket. Okay, so now our both the buckets, both dal and rice are swapped in buckets. Okay, so this is the general idea. Now let's convert that idea into our code. So here I'm just printing the num1 and num2 before swapping. So it will print as it is. Num1 will be printed here, num2 will be printed here. Okay, now I'm taking third bucket temp as an empty bucket, passing num1 to that empty bucket. So now empty bucket contains value of num1. After passing num1 to empty bucket, I'm changing the value of num1. Now value of num1 will be num2. Okay, so now the value of num1 is changed to num2. That means num2 is swapped to num1. Now as I have stored my num1 in temp, I can assign that num1 to num2. Okay, so in this step I'm changing the value of num2 to the temp value which was containing the value of num1. So now we can say that our numbers are swapped, and at the end I'm just printing out those numbers. Okay, so this is how swapping is happening. Okay, so let us check saving this program and just running it. Okay, the swap number is not defined, again error. Okay, no problem. Okay, so swap numbers, which I just need to add yes here, spelling mistake. So we are passing 5 and 10. So this line 5 and 10 will be printed, this line 10 and 5 will be printed. Let's see. Okay, so 5 and 10 after swapping 10 and 5. Okay, you got it right. Now the last program. So in this function what we are checking, we are checking if the year is leap or not. Okay, so we know that if year is divided by 4 and our remainder is 0, and if year is divided by 100 or 400 and the remainder is also 0, then our year is leap, otherwise it is not. Okay, so we are taking year as a input in parameter, and then we are just checking with this condition. If it is true, then we are printing year is leap, otherwise in else block we are printing year is not leap. I'm passing 2024 here. Let's check. So 2024 is a leap year. If we pass 2023, of course it's not leap year, so it's not leap year. Okay, so these are 4 problems that I wanted to discuss today. In next video we'll be talking about local and global variables, and after that we'll be talking about the very important concept, that is the return keyword in our functions. So stay tuned till that part. Thank you.